Welcome back to another segment of Credit and Magic 36, and let's jump right into it. Um, this video and information is for informational, educational, and recreational purposes only. I want to put this disclaimer out here. It's not my intent to give you accounting, finance, tax, legal, or professional advice. I'm just simply sharing information. All right. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm not trying to get you to do anything. I'm not trying to get you to buy anything. All the information is free. All right. So if you get mentorship, you get training from anyone, you're paying that person for their time, their energy, their expertise, right? You don't have enough time to figure it out. But just make sure whoever it is, they shouldn't have a problem showing you a track record of success. They shouldn't have a problem showing you, because this is the receipts age, of clients that they have helped, where they started at, the middle, and what the end result was. Because if you truly successful, you don't have anything to hide. And, based on the kind of rapport that y'all build and your level of commitment, maybe they'll even let you correspond with the client, after getting permission, by email or by Zoom or conference call or a live call. I mean, if you're truly successful, you don't have anything to hide, and if it's truly about sharing the information and help a person go from struggling to begin really living and showing them how the systems work, you don't have anything to hide, so you should be willing to go to any ends, so long as you can find a client that's, supportive. Because if you've really blessed somebody else's life, that person shouldn't have an issue with just sharing their story with another person that was in the same predicament that they were in. I'm not saying that all consultants or coaches or entrepreneurs would be willing to do this. But I just believe that if you're really trying to help people from a heart space, you'll be willing to do that. I've helped many of people. Um, this is 6, 7, 8 years ago, and the information is still the same. I've helped many of people get to 750 and beyond. Hundreds of people get to 720. Um, but it's just not about the score. It's about building the credit profile the right way. It's about you getting a new mindset, a new emotional guidance system. Because remember, money and access to resources is a central nervous deal, right? It's a neurological deal. So you're going to have to establish a new neuroplasticity. You can't think the same way. You can't feel the same way. You can't tell the same story. You can't hold the same beliefs and think that you're going to become successful. It just can't happen. Something has to change, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. The thing that's got to change is you. How do we change you? We change you by raising your level of awareness, consciousness, right? And then changing your thinking, your mindset, right? Your thought impulses, your thinking patterns, your thought processes. Changing your emotions. These chemicals are being released in your body like drugs, and you're used to feeling a certain way because you've been thinking a certain way. When you change that thinking, those um, secretions become different. They turn into serotonin, they turn into oxytocin, they turn into good chemicals. Because every time you think, you release a chemical, whether you know it or not. And so when you're feeling angry, you're feeling victimhood, you're feeling scarcity, you're scarred because you can't get what you want. Your body releases a chemical similar to a drug, and you're addicted to that. That's why you're stuck in the same situation, rocking that same boat. But now you're being exposed to me. It's time to change that. You have the wherewithal to do it. It takes an incredible work ethic, Michael Jordan-esque, to do it on your own, but it is possible. But you get this information and you just begin to learn this information. Don't keep it in your head. Put it on paper. Apply it, integrate it, appropriate it, demonstrate it. This is what you got to do. It's got to be day in and day out, just like you brush your teeth, you wash your face, you take a bath. You put gas in your car. It's got to become a habit. It's got to become a behavior. It's got to become an action. That's just what it is. Nothing works if you don't, right? Nothing works unless you do. 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 You can find the best credit person in the world, but he can give you all the information. She can give you all the information. But if you don't do a damn thing, and a damn thing gonna happen. So I want you to get the delusion. I want you to get the distortion. I want you to get the illusion out of your head. Nothing is going to happen unless you do something internally and externally. You got to change your thinking. You got to change your emotional guidance system, your feelings and your emotions. You got to change your stories. You got to change your belief system. You got to change your beliefs. You got to change your perceptions, how you are seeing things, how you see your world, how you see your universe, how you see yourself, how you see others, right? How you see nature. Everything works just like nature. So you are the biggest issue. You are the biggest answer. You are the source. Everything that's happening to you, you're creating, good, bad, or indifferent. And until you take ownership, until you take accountability, until you take responsibility and take the information and test it and experiment it, nothing won't happen for you. You know, you can invest all the money you want. If you're not committed and you're not going to do the internal work and the external work day in and day out until you get the results that you want, ain't nothing going to happen. So I just want to be clear about that. All these lofty promises, you know, when it comes to credit, can't nobody make no promises. Don't nobody know how long it's going to take. But you got to take the information and you got to use it. You got to step into your right. You got to embody who you really are. You got to occupy who you really are. And you got to stand on your rights, 10 toes down. And then that's when things are going to begin to happen for you. I'm a big advocate for you actually not necessarily going to pay for credit repair, but learning this information yourself and beginning to integrate it, implement it, apply it, and you know, just make up your mind that you're not going to give up because it's not an overnight process. I like to say 6 months is coming anyway, 9 months is coming anyway, 12 months is coming anyway. I like a person to commit to 9 months because you need to build a new mindset. You need to build a new emotional guidance system. You need to build a new belief system. All at the same time, you need to be disputing your inaccuracies, right? You need to, you know, get some financial education, whether it be professional or it be through a certain coach or a consultant, because you're going to have new money habits, new behaviors with money. So it's a transformative process. And, you know, at best, it's 6 months, but I like everybody to commit to 9 months because it's a transformational process. You got to become a new person. You got to become a new version of yourself. It's just what it is. You got to let go of that stuff that happened to you when you was 4 years old to 7 years old or to 8 years old. All that stuff you saw, the fights, the cursing behind money, the embarrassment, humiliation behind money, seeing the cars get repoed, seeing the lights get cut out, seeing the telephone cut off. You got to let that stuff go. It's a new day. Every moment's a new moment. You got to educate yourself, right? You got to become financially literate. You got to become financially educated. You got to become credit educated, right? You got to understand what credit is, how it works, right? What it costs, what are the negative consequences if you use it unwisely? What are the positive consequences if you use it wisely? You got to find out that you got a relationship with money. I know nobody never told you, but now you're hearing it, and you got to repair that relationship with money. You got to rebuild that relationship with money. You got to restore that relationship with money. Then you got to get active. You know what I mean? You got to understand this process called circulation. Money comes in, money goes out. 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 You got to be not attached to it, right? You can't be afraid to let it go. You know what I'm saying? When you stop the flow, it ceases to become money. It's called currency. That means it's supposed to flow. That is what it is. You know what I mean? And so you got to learn the difference between liabilities and assets. You got to learn to get disciplined and not to get into consumption, you know, just being a consumer, you know, living outside of your means. It's different things that you got to put in place, but it is possible. It is doable. Every person that does it, that succeeds, does it, so you can do it, but you got to get the discipline. It's no different than, If you're trying to reduce fat, or you're trying, to improve your health, it's things that you got to do every day. So this is financial health, and it deals with your relationship with money, right? The representation or the symbol, floating rate notes, and it deals with your perception of credit. You've heard, oh, don't get into debt, don't do this, don't do that, but you didn't get the why behind it. You know what I'm saying? So this is why you got to educate yourself. Wealthy people, rich people, prosperous people, abundant people, they leverage credit, right, to acquire assets that appreciate, that bring in income, or that bring in interest payments. You know what I'm saying? Stocks and bonds. All of this stuff, you got to become aware of it. If you stay into the old system, you're trying to hold physical money that's not even physical money, it's fiat, there's nothing backing it, then you're going to be in trouble. I mean, you're going to stay struggling. I'm trying to help you go from struggling to living by educating you, sharing information, helping you become financially literate, helping you become financially educated, help you become credit educated, help you become consumer educated and know your rights. Nothing is free. There is no free lunch. So you got to operate with money in this dispensation. You know what I'm saying? You have that belief that money is evil, it's hurting you. You know what I'm saying? You got that belief you don't want any of the old world's goods. Money don't grow on trees. You got to root that stuff up, man. It's time to replace that stuff. That stuff been playing in you 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and that's what's caused you to mess up your credit, right? Credit is basically your reputation, right? Your personality on paper. Do you look good on paper? Do you look good on paper? Do you look good on paper, right? This is how you're being judged. You're going to always be judged by your past and what you did when you were living unconsciously, when you were ignorant, you weren't known, right? So this is what this is about. This is making you informed so you'll no longer be ill-informed, right? So credit, there's a cost associated with credit, right? It costs you something to borrow money. How much does the money cost, right? That's the interest rate that they expect to get for taking a risk, right? It's risk mitigation. Everyone is trying to minimize their risk while at the same time capturing the reward. You know what I'm saying? Your credit score determines whether or not you pay 3 to 5% interest, or you pay 24% to 36% interest. Or you can meet in the middle, somewhere between 16% and 18%, right? This goes for getting furniture. This goes for buying a car. This goes for all your credit cards, charge cards. This goes for everything, gas cards. It's all depending on your credit profile, your FICO score. So you need to understand that. Um, I'm assuming no one knows anything. The big three is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. There's about 360 other secondary agencies, but the ones that you probably want to pay close attention to are like LCI, Innovis, SageStream, LexisNexis, ARS. Those are just a few, to name a few. And so these corporations are, possessing your information, and they're selling it for hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're reporting between each other. You know what I'm saying? So they are impacting whether or not someone will lend to you. They are impacting whether or not someone will extend credit to you. This is how it works. There's nothing you can do about it, right? So you got to learn the game. You got to learn the silent rules of engagement in the game. You got to learn the rules to the game. You got to play by the rules, right? If you expect to succeed. This is why you got to get the discipline and not just be a connoisseur or practicing consumption. You need to go into this thing with a level head, a new mindset, new emotional guidance system, new belief system, right? New behaviors, so that you can take new actions, so that you can build and construct a new life. you can become a new and better and more improved, more enhanced version of yourself. That's what this is about, right? So if you have a strong credit profile, a good 12 to 15 positive accounts where you've been paying on time or before time, and they're reporting pays as agreed, you know, that's like, I think, the strongest mark that they can put on there, right? You want it to say pays as agreed, you know. Um, that means that you're honoring the written agreement, the contract that you agreed to. And so when creditors, financial institutions, um, corporations see like, hey, this person has 12 accounts, they ain't never had no late payments, in 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, 48 months, 60 months, 72 months, then that means your name is good. That means that you can pretty much get whatever you want. And not only that, you may be able to get interest-free uh, purchases for 13 to 21 months. So that's just like if you borrow $1,000, you just got to pay $1,000 back. So long as if it's, if they give you 21 months, no interest, that means you can pay that, as long as you pay that $1,000 back, by the 20th month and that 28th day, you don't have no interest. But if you go past 21 months, the first day, now you owe interest. So that thing could jump up to $1,400. You know what I'm saying? You could have saved $400, but you was worried about letting the money go. That's poverty mentality, scarcity mentality, lack mentality, shortage mentality, insufficiency mentality. Costs you $400. That's why you got to read the fine print. You got to know your payment dates. You got to know your due date. You got to know your statement date. You got to know the reporting date. All these things are important. When you begin to play the game by the rules, man, you're going to win. You're going to accelerate. Everything is going to be at your beck and call. You know what I'm saying? Now you have resources to acquire assets so that you can receive interest payments, so that you can create other streams of income, so that you can really play the game and you can begin to advance and live what they call the American dream. But if you're just working a job and you're just paying the bills, and then you call them with excuses about why you can't pay this bill, and they saying, okay, yeah, they're waiting to ding you. I mean, a 30-day late, you know what I'm saying, and the charge off, I mean, probably outside of a bankruptcy, that's the most detrimental thing that you can have hit your profile, man. It crushes you like a jelly bean. So this is why it's important. You want to establish the disciplines. You want to form the habit of paying your bills before time. You know what I'm saying? 5 business days before it's due, 7 business days before it's due. And you want to have a paper trail, set that thing up by your checking. Have it on automatic so you can't miss a payment, right? And then another thing is this. Most people don't really pay attention to this, but you never should have a late payment anyways. Because first of all, you get a full, let's just call it 25 days, right? 25 days to 30 days. A month is usually 30 days, right? So if you miss that payment, you just get a late fee. It could be $24.99, it could be $29.99, it could be $34.99, similar to an NSF charge. And so then you have a whole another 25 days to 28 days to pay it. So for you not to pay it within 55 to 58 days is ratchet, right? And that means that you don't understand money. You don't have a good relationship with money. You don't have the basics and fundamentals of credit. And you shouldn't have credit anyways. Because if you're going to be irresponsible and you're not going to pay a bill for a whole 58 or 59 days, and you're not communicating with that company, you don't deserve to be extended credit. And you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt your family. And it's just, you really need to invest in yourself, and you need to get financial literacy, right? You need to get financial education. You need to get credit education, and then you need to get consumer education about your rights. Those are the first steps to getting you out of unconsciousness, of you being unaware. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. It's like you're a child and you're doing childish things. You're speaking and acting like a child, right? So the financial literacy, the financial education, um, credit education, and consumer education through mentorship and training to get you to get a new mindset, new neuroplasticity, to build new neural networks, so that you can develop a new emotional guidance system, a new belief system, and new behaviors, so that you stop harming yourself and you begin to help yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's checking yourself before you wreck yourself. You got to have checks and balances, and you need accountability, right? I know this wasn't taught in school, but these are just the first steps that you got to go through. And then during this process, you'll begin to get your income documented on paper, and you'll begin to um, write out your bills, pay them by checks, so that you can track all the money, or paying by money orders. You know, money orders only cost $1 or 89 cents. You want to have a paper trail. So if you ever have a billing error, you can dispute it and easily, effortlessly get it removed, because you'll have documentation. Remember, this is the age of receipts. You got to pay the bills before time or on time. You got to pay the bills before time or on time. You got to pay the bills before time or on time. You got to pay the bills before time or on time. You got to pay the bills before time or on time. This is the only way you're going to be able to advance and prosper in this life. This is the only way you're going to be able to live instead of exist, man. You got to participate in circulation. Money's going to come in, money's going to go out. That's the way it's going to always be. If you pouting about it, you're trying to hoard money, burying money in the ground, under the ground, and under your mattress. It's no longer money. It's currency. It's got to flow. It's got to circulate. It's just the way it is. You got to get assets, that appreciate, that can bring you interest payments and bring you other streams of income. You will not advance only getting money one way. You will not advance only getting money one way. You will not advance only getting money one way. You will not advance only getting money one way. Right? So when you get a 720 credit score and you got at least 12 accounts, a minimum of 10 accounts showing that you're paying on time, you on the good land. You get a 750 score, you know what I'm saying? You can get anything you want. I always want you to live within your means. I want you to be resourceful. I want you to acquire assets, that appreciate, that bring you additional income through interest payments and another stream of income. Without you doing anything. It's just going on itself, autopilot, automatic. It's just happening. That's what you want. When you get in that position right there and you live disciplined life, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, it won't be long before you can have any type of toy that you want, that's within reason, that's commensurate with your income. We should never live outside of our means. And so this is why I'm trying to get you to become financially literate through sharing this information, get you to become financially educated through sharing this information, get you to become credit educated through sharing this information, getting you to become consumer educated through sharing this information. If one person has done it, anybody can do it, because the principle is the law that governs. It works for all people in all places at all times. It is not privy to your color, your age, your sex, your demographics. It doesn't care. Whoever works the principle gets to success. We've been live on Credit M Magic 36, discussing a lot of things, powerful video. Until the next time, peace.